So let's talk about a level 2 DOT inspection this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who does DOT inspections at 5 o'clock in the morning? We'll talk about it. Right here. Look, this is like the smallest thing you can get. This is the only way he had to print this off, was this little tiny piece of paper. Man. So we have a level 2 inspection this morning at like 5:30 this morning. We're in Texas. Texas does DOT inspections early in the morning. They were just pulling everybody in. I probably was number, I don't know, probably fourth or fifth in line that they were working on at the time. On top of, they had about a row of trucks in front of me that I seen when I left. All had the nice little red tags sitting on their trucks, out of service. So they were out to, seemed like to me they were gonna make some money today. But we were heading down 281 south, like heading towards West Laco to get loaded, and that's where we're at right now at our shipper, waiting for a door. Even though my appointment was at 8 o'clock, I made it here right at 8 o'clock on the dot. No thanks to Texas DOT. They had me sitting there for almost an hour. But I'll show you what they did. They, I don't know. Still not too happy with the whole situation. I don't think it was a, I don't even know. It's a type of situation that there is, what could I do? What could you really do? You know, you're kind of at their mercy. You know, what do? You know, he does his outside, checking my lights, brakes, horn, wipers, all that good stuff, which was no problem. Let me back up this morning. If I didn't do any kind of pre-trip this morning, they would have got me. Last night we stayed at the TA in Laredo, and apparently somebody needed a license plate light, so they helped themselves to mine on my trailer. So this morning I just do a little pre-trip before we get going, and no license plate light. I was like, oh, it probably sounds like a loose connection. It happens sometimes. Kind of give it a shake, the bulb's gone. So, and I didn't have one, so I had to go inside and go grab one. So we got that changed. So no big deal. So the guy, back to the inspection thing. So he does his little walk around deal, and because I asked him if I can walk with him, because I've never, I've only had one other inspection. It was like a roadside, and this cop was just pulling people over, and I just happened to be the next guy coming over the hill. So I asked him if I can walk with him, and he's like, well, no, because you have to, turn signals, horn, brakes, you have to do all that stuff. Okay. And he said, well, when I go and do the second part of the inspection, then you can come with me and you can see what I see. All right, cool, no problem. So he does his thing and he walks around, and this whole time, granted, I'm watching him in my mirrors, and the only time I couldn't see him is when he was behind the trailer. And I watched him, walk down the driver's side, walk around the back, walk up the passenger side, and walked around the front. Then he came back over to the driver's side door. So then he tells me that we're all good. Only 2 violations. Only 2 violations. And I said that, and I was like, 2 violations? I mean, I said it like that. He's like, well, they're only warnings. I was like, warnings? It doesn't matter. You just, well, what were they? And he said one was the red airline that he said that it was supposed to be connected to the spring. I said, okay. Then the second one was the brake line. I'll show you guys this. And there was excessive rubbing on the brake line, on the airline. Okay. So I'm not one to like confrontation or I'm not one to just I'm not gonna fight with the man because I know you're gonna lose. It's just gonna get worse, But when I feel like some of it was kind of, like there was a guy with him, and I think the guy, the inspector, he was the trainee. So, and everybody knows these guys are trained to look for this stuff. They know what they're looking for before they even look. They know. So he says about the red airline, it's supposed to be connected to the spring. And I said, well, I think it's supposed to be securely mounted to the tractor and the trailer. And it was. So he said, well, we'll go look that up. And I said, okay. And I said, about the brake line, when did you even... I watched you the whole time, and you never looked between the tractor and the trailer. You have to get between the tractor and the trailer to find... I mean, you have to get in between. You have to look down in the frame. You got to be digging to find it. Unless he got in and got out of there quick, which could have happened. But I didn't see, either way, I would have seen him walking in or walking out. So so we go inside, in which I knew there was no point in arguing when I walked in, when I seen 6 other drivers sitting at these tables about to do the same thing that I'm doing, that I knew there ain't no point. There's no reason. So there was nothing said about the red airline anymore, and it actually wasn't on the sheet that he gave me, but the brake line was. And I questioned again about the brake line because when did you get inside there? I didn't see this, I didn't see that. It's like they know what to look for. Again, they know what to look for. They could probably pull in 60 trucks, and 55 of those trucks are probably going to have the same problem that I had, they just, to me, I'm questioning, is that the only thing? You couldn't find anything else, so let's just give you a warning on this and just send you on your way, you get the airline fixed. That's, I don't understand it. It's like, couldn't they just said, hey, you probably should get this airline fixed. Oh man, crap, I didn't even realize that. All right, cool, no problem, I'll get it fixed. But now it's got to be documented, So when I'm asking him about the airline thing, there's a state trooper that was in there, and the trooper asked me, is there a problem here, sir? Nah, no problems. Oh man. So here we go. So I had to send him information, level 2 inspection. And that was the other thing I asked him about too. It says, container locked, yes or no? No. Am I supposed to keep a lock on this thing at all times? Is that like a company policy, or is that like a Texas policy thing? I'm not sure. But yeah, so we gotta check in for a brake line. But like I said, I'll show you guys the lines. What are you gonna do? All right. So here's what we were talking about right here. So here's the airlines. Hold on a second. All right, there we go. So here's the airlines. And see how they're, that's where they're sitting. That's where they are. That's where they naturally sit. But I guess over time, kind of hard to tell. See those two little scuffs right there? And I guess over time, you see from the vibration, golly, man. And we'll go check that out. Yeah, so you seen the airlines. I mean, the one had a little bit of rub on it. No big deal. We'll get it fixed. I mean, I can't get it fixed right this second. So I probably should just throw like some electrical tape on there, until I can get to a shop and get that swapped out. Seems like an easy fix. I could just do that myself. And to probably save myself any trouble, I should probably just take that red airline, hook it to the spring. Oh man. But yeah, DOT inspections. There's not much you can do. You have to go with it. I mean, the truck was fine. Everything was cool. Tires good, brakes good. Lights good. Everything is good. But I feel like in the end, if they want to find something, they're gonna find something. I mean, he probably could have got his little dolly out and what do they call it? Where they get up underneath, roll around up beneath the truck and found 10 things, But, I mean, should I feel grateful for that's all they did? It's just like, I got enough problems going now. It's like, I didn't really need this. It's just like, when it rains, it pours. Rains, it pours. Feels like a freaking monsoon. We'll get by this. We'll get by. Appreciate you guys watching. And anybody else that gets a DOT inspection, be cool. Be cool. That's all you can do. Thanks, guys.